Hello world and welcome to the Mecca of Mastery TV. I am your host Mecca. If it is your mission to become the greatest version of yourself in every area of life, then you, my soul friend, are in the right place. I'm so excited about this episode, as I say in every video, because baby, I do be so excited because in this video we are talking about spiritual and personal development. And the topic of this video is, what are your currency values? Let's get straight into the video. Currency values, baby. We about to talk all about it, right? If you don't know what currency values are, think of it like this, right? You have relationships, business relationships, personal relationships, interpersonal relationships, your intimate relationships, your friendships, relationships with your family. And your currency values are those things that you communicate to other people to let them know how to deal with you. Currency values are different from love languages, and I'm going to dive deep into it and let you know all about it. But before we get into the drip of this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet, because you never want to miss any updates. I am dropping food for your soul, honey, every single Monday. Make sure you make it official and you become a family member here at the Mecca of Mastery TV. Okay, so currency values. Before we dive into currency values, let's talk about love languages, right? If many of you haven't heard of love language, there's a love languages. There's a book on love languages, but you can also search many YouTube videos or just Google love languages, and it would just basically tell you what the summary of the book are and like the 5 love languages, like, physical touch, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and the other one is something else. I forgot what it is. Words of affirmation, right? So your currency values are somewhat like your love languages, but they go deeper into detail of dealing with who you are specifically. Let me give you an example. But first of all, let me back up. The reason why I wanted to bring this video to you is because I have found myself in my life running through lovers and friends, falling out with family members and people all the time. And I consider myself to be a fairly good person, right? I consider myself to be a good person. I am very genuine. I am very intentional about how I live my life. And I'm very intentional about the people that's in my life. I really love the people. You're not in my life if I don't really care for you. I love you how I love myself. I see you as I see myself, okay? So for me, I was changing my friends more than I changed my panties. And it was kind of like, what is going on? I'm the problem. And I realized it's because I was not articulating my currency values. Like, have you ever been in a space in your life where you found yourself running through lovers, running through friends, and it's like, what is the issue here? It wasn't a major issue, but the issue was that you didn't understand their currency values. They didn't understand your currency values because you did not articulate them. And so the last situation I had with my ex, right, that one was the one that let me know right there, like, baby, we got to do something about this, because that was very hurtful for me going through that breakup. And, it's still kind of hurt today, departing ways with your best friend because you didn't properly communicate your currency values, Mecca, and you didn't know how at that time. So now that I understand what they are, and I understand that this is something that you must do in all relationships in order for the relationships to be solid and to be afloat, I wanted to come and share it with you today, because now I communicate these things to people and my relationships has been 100. So first things first, right? Let me give you an example, because giving an example is always the best thing, right? One of my currency values is understanding, okay, that I value space, okay? I value having my space but being reassured. I'm going to say that again. One of my currency values is that I value space, but also being reassured. Now, you see what I mean by, these are different from love languages, okay? Because love languages will say quality time. I like quality time a lot, but I also like my space. But I have to go deeper into that. So, for example, I am the type of person that I can be with you every single day, days in a row, probably 6, 7, 8 days in a row. And then I get to a space where I get tired of peopling. It's not you specifically. It has nothing to do with the person, right? This is just something, right, that I've been doing since I was younger. It's just who I am, right? I will get to a space where I can talk to somebody on the phone every single day, okay? I can be with them all day, right after work, right after school, right after whatever. We are chilling, we on the phone, they come over, they spend a night. I'm with them every single day. When it hits about the 7th or 8th day mark for me, I go into what I call like a hermit mode for like 3 or 4 days in my own space, right? So but while I'm doing that, it's like I need to be reassured still with my relationships. It's like we might send a text or two. I might FaceTime you, but it won't be for 30 minutes. We'll be on the phone for like 5 minutes. Or I might not talk to you at all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking about you, right? Vice versa, right? And so what has happened in my relationships throughout my journey, throughout my life, is that because I didn't communicate this to people, that this is something that is naturally who I am and has nothing to do with them, what happened, and you know what happens, then well, now it don't happen anymore because I say something. But people started to feel as if that I was ignoring them. Okay, people started to feel that, oh, when you need something, I was there, and it was not the case, because I don't look at relationships for tick for tat, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was ignoring them, and then, you know, or they did something wrong, and none of that was the case. Like none of that was the case. So what I do now is communicate to people what my currency value is. And what I mean by currency values is, what are you cashing into this relationship? What are you paying into this relationship? You're not paying in a form of money, even though you might be, but you're paying in a form of attention, of energy, of attention and intention, right? How are you prioritizing this relationship? So I have certain friends that I know that I have to send them a text once a week because that would reassure them. Is that a lot for me? Do I have that currency, right? Do I really have that capacity, that currency to do that for that friend, right? Yes, I do. And if I don't, then I won't. And usually 9 times out of 10, it's either we won't be friends or that person will feel as if you're not showing up for them. They won't feel you, right? And it's just like money, right? You might not be able to afford certain things. That's why some people are in financial disaster, right? Because the currency, they don't really have the capacity to pay the money in which they are trying to gain, keep something in their life at the moment. They have not built up the financial space, strength, foundations to handle whatever it is that they are allocating that money to and paying that currency to. And so it's the same thing with relationships. A lot of relationships are in distress because you've been probably operating from a space of a negative balance energetically, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and doing things that really is not in alignment with you, showing up for people when that's really not what you have the capacity for. Probably not ever, but really not in this phase of your life. Probably not like right now, not in this season of your life. Sometimes it's just for a season. For like 3 or 4 months, you're probably working on getting yourself together, getting out of debt. You know, you can't go out right now. It's winter. It's hibernation season. So you're eating at home. You're not going out. You're not spending any money out. You know, things like that. So, you know, you're not trying to talk to people too much. You're trying to really hone in on who you are and plant new seeds for the spring season, for the new year, right? For the real new year. And you haven't communicated these things to your friends or to your partner or to the people you do business with. So now they think something is wrong, but it's not. It's just that you don't have the capacity. The currency is low. The currency is low. You don't have the currency to dish out, to have those conversations, to go out all the time, to take that friend's trip. It's like, hey, y'all, I know y'all want me to take this trip, but I'm saving up to open up a studio. I know y'all want me to take this girls trip, and it's not that I don't want to go with y'all, but I'm trying to buy a house. You get what I'm saying? So currency values is What are the values? And how much does it cost energetically for someone to truly be in alignment with you, in relation with you, whether that is a physical relationship, a business relationship, your friendships, you know what I'm saying, your intimate relationships? What are your currency values? So like I stated, one of mine is I need space, but I also need to be reassured. Another thing for me when it comes to currency values is one of them is like words of affirmation, but I need somebody to tell me about myself, not just like a words of affirmation, because I like to hear things, but I like for somebody to tell me literally about myself as far as like when I am off, okay, when I've made them feel a certain way. Because if you don't tell me, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If you don't say something, I'm just going to keep going and going and going and doing what I'm doing. But if you don't tell me, if you don't check in and we have a conversation like, okay, here's a progress report, Mecca, for the last quarter, the last 3 months. Okay, we've been talking about this, and it's certain things that you said and I just don't like it, right? I am a friend, for example, that because you know what I do, I'm a life coach, okay? That's what I'm labeled as. That's right, I'm a spiritual life coach, you know, motivational speaker, author, with all of that, right? So, therapist. So I am that friend to my friends, right? That when they call me, I'm offering advice. But all of my friends are not calling for advice all the time. So I have my friends call me, and we have learned to really say things like, I'm calling to vent, and I'm talking to friend Mecca, and I just want you to listen. Or I'm calling because I need your input and I need advice, right? And those are their currency values as well. So when you share your currency values with people, it allows them to better understand you, and it allows them to show up for you in a way that is really and truly honoring to you, where you feel respected, you feel seen, you feel heard. That's why I said it goes deeper than the love languages. The love languages is just like the surface. When you get down to the currency values, it's literally what's at the root of who you are. Like, let's get down into it, right? I could say, oh, I like words of affirmation, but then it's like, what type of words of affirmations? Okay? Because I could tell you beautiful all day. Okay? That you're the best. You know, you can do this. That makes me cringe, right? Hearing that all day. But words of affirmation for me is when you're talking to me and you're asking me, Mecca, how are you feeling? Why do you feel that way? And then you're going in and say, well, you know what? I can see why you feel like this. And coming from my perspective or my point of view, blah, 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 blah. And I can agree with you and disagree with you, but then this is what I see, and I'm like, you know what? I love that. And I feel so safe in those relationships. I feel seen, I feel supported, I feel needed, all of that. I like, for example, I like one of my other currency values are when you just let me do me. I can't stand when somebody is always asking me what and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why, but why? What you mean, but fucking why? Because I want to. I don't have to explain why I want to wear the color purple on my nails. Because I want to, right? Because I want to. So, and I don't say I shouldn't have to always explain myself, even though some part of me really feel like that deep down inside. But it's like, where are you going with this? Right? Now, to really understand your currency values is to really understand yourself. So you have to date yourself. You have to dive within and get to know who you are. You have to really go inside and figure out who you are. Study yourself. Study yourself, right? What makes me tick? When I'm doing these things, what makes me feel seen? What makes me feel heard? What makes me feel safe? What makes me feel grounded? What makes me feel protected? So once you know what you need to do for yourself, you can articulate those things to other people as to what you do for yourself and how you move. So that way it's not causing negative emotion in other people. Because remember, a lot of people are walking around and operating from a space of trauma. You know, as soon as I don't text somebody back in 4 days, I'll leave messages on red. That's just because I'm overly stimulated. right? I got so much going on, and I'm just not going to look at my text messages for days, because when I go on my text messages, it causes me to have anxiety, and when I have anxiety, I can't get anything done, right? And so if I say that, tell my best friend that, or whoever's in my life, or my mate, you know, or somebody I'm working with, they will understand, like, it's one of those days. Or I will communicate that. When I go on, for example, when I go on my fasts, I will communicate to the people that's in my circle, like, hey, I'm going on a silent fast, or I'm going on a 3-day fast, like, or, you know, I'm being MIA for a little bit because I'm feeling too much of the matrix penetrating my auric field. So, you know, and they know what's up. And also communicate. But in order to communicate what you're feeling and how you're moving, you have to understand yourself. So I highly recommend, if you don't know yourself, you get in line, okay? Download my 21-day healing plan, because that allows you to dive deep within yourself if you really want to tune in and align with who you are, okay? So 21-day healing plan, the link is in the description box below. But with that being said, I hope you love this video and you share this with somebody that you care about, because we always say here at Mecca Mastery TV that sharing is caring. And if you're on social media, make sure you follow me on these social media platforms. And as I've stated before, if you want any advice or one-on-one coaching and things of that nature, you can either directly email me at meccabookings@gmail.com, or click the link in the description box below and book your Pick My Brain session. And make sure you check out the website at meccafreeman.com so you can see the wide range of food that we have for your soul, from 21-day healing plans to manifestation ritual guides, getting your shit together guides, womb healing guides, and so much more, okay? And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any updates. I will see you next Monday. So you, my soul friend, you go out into the world, you kick a whole lot of action. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything, because you can do whatever you put your mind, your body, and your soul to. I am sending my love, light, peace, tranquility, good ass vibes, and high energy and frequency your way. Until next time, I see you in the next episode with peace and love. See you.